Hey guys, all right, so in this slideshow video, I am going to be sharing some very important facts and knowledge, which I believe everybody who's living on the planet currently should know. And I know it's going to be extremely gross, and you might have the urge to find it funny at some points, as I did, and that's fine, but please do not for a second take this lightly. It's an extremely important piece of information that everyone on the planet needs to know because going forward, this may be our future. And if we don't understand this right away, right now, and do something about this, this is the kind of future we're looking at. So let's talk about this. We're talking today about poop being used as medicine. I'm talking about human poop being used as a medicine. It's not a joke. As gross and as funny as it might sound, this should be worrying us all, and I'll go into the reasons why. But let's first look at what this is. So I'm pretty sure 99% of the people have never heard of this. This is a considered pretty groundbreaking stuff right now in the research circles. It's called fecal matter transplant, and this is supposedly becoming a wonder medicine for a lot of very dangerous health conditions and diseases that people are suffering from. And this could be our future. So with this coming up as a medicine, this is obviously pointing a big finger at our traditional thinking with, how medicines were looked at, how the big pharma was looked at, and all our medical knowledge essentially, where we thought taking medicines make us healthy. But now researchers are coming up and telling us maybe it's poop which can make us healthier. So yeah, as I mentioned, the research is underway. This could be possibly a future of health and medicine on the planet based on the information that's coming out. Some of the possible affected conditions, there might be more, but right now what they're looking at are these big diseases which seem to have some direct link with this poop therapy, which it could affect. And they've done some tests or they've done some experiments with people, and they've shown some great response from patients. So some of the diseases that we're looking at are ulcerative colitis, cancer, Crohn's disease, all very terrible stuff, by the way. Cirrhosis, multiple sclerosis, depression and anxiety, which pretty much everybody on the planet is suffering from today, obesity, food allergies, diabetes, and bipolar disorder as well. And there are more. These are just some of the things which researchers are finding out may be directly related to or can get affected by this poop therapy. So let's look at what is this FMT or fecal matter transplant. Essentially, what this is in this process, they take a donor, which supposedly has healthy poop. They take that human shit, literally, mix it up with this salt water, make it a solution, blend it up. I know it sounds very appealing, right? So, and after that, they filter it to get all the solids out of it, and essentially get like a poop slurry out of it. And then that poop slurry is fed into people with endoscopy, or in some cases, people are now getting these oral capsules that they can take by mouth or by nose. Which essentially, if you really think about it, we're pretty much feeding shit to people at this point. But hey, this is supposed to work, and it's apparently doing wonders to people. So take a moment and just think how much pain and suffering and desperation a person has to be where something like this becomes really appealing to someone, to literally eat shit rather than suffer what they're suffering. So let's look at what all this crap is about, pun intended, by the way. Turns out it's all about microbes. So researchers are finding our health is extremely heavily dependent on these microbes that live on our body and inside our bodies. There are more than 10,000 species, not microbes, species of microbes that live within our bodies and on our bodies. And in numbers, they amount to trillions all over our body, inside our organs, on our skin. And as you can see in the picture, we're essentially just walking factories of these microbes. and that's what researchers are finding. So starting with our nose, all the way to our colon, our sexual organs, our skin, these microbes are playing a role to keep us healthy and keep us in good shape. So they're contributing to this well-being, and this poop therapy is an example of that, because essentially the reason why people are turning to this FMT is because these microbes are getting destroyed, which again, the researchers are now connecting to all these terrible diseases that humanity is suffering from. And what they're finding is the destroyed microbes can be now, replaced or rehabilitated in these human bodies of the patients, which suddenly starts to improve and improve their health conditions essentially. So, what exactly happened to these microbes? I think it's a pretty common known fact, but let's just look at this. It's essentially, the problem is our definition of hygiene or cleanliness, which essentially means killing all germs and everything. And that's what we consider clean, is not having any life or living organisms before we consume something on us or around us. Even the surfaces is something is considered clean if we throw some chemicals on it to kill all life on it. And same thing with our food. Our food is being consumed essentially without any microbes because we're over processing it. We're cleaning it, quote unquote, clean, by killing all the germs that could possibly be on our food or inside our food. Um, and some of the other things which are leading to or accelerating the death of these microbes are the chemicals in our food, water, soaps, shampoos, the cleaners we use to clean our surfaces, the clothes we wear full of chemicals. All these things are negatively affecting the microbiome of human beings. So essentially, everything that we're doing right now is designed to kill all microbial life, which essentially ends up killing all the good bacteria or good viruses and fungi and whatnot as well, which are needed to keep us healthy. And the bottom line is the microbes die and we get sick. So let's take an example here. Let's look at what the ideal case looks like, because this is a very recent thing. In the last 150, 200 years, we've started running towards this situation that we're in today. But for centuries, humans have lived on the planet and we never had these issues in the past. And the reason was because we were connected and the things we were eating was the ideal scenario. So let's take an example of raw milk, because I've done a lot of research about the milk that we drink, and how many of us can actually claim that we're drinking raw milk, right? You can hardly get your hands on this. Your milk goes through like these pipes, these tankers. It gets over processed, it gets pasteurized, but pretty much kills it, and it's a dead food at that point, and it ends up causing more diseases in us rather than actually provide any sort of nutritional value or any of these microbes. So ideally, what milk was supposed to do for us was, if you look in the picture, when the cow is grazing on the grass, what it's doing is it's ingesting this grass, which is full of microbes. And while eating the grass, it's also ingesting a lot of soil into its body. And then what this cow is essentially a factory of microbes, good microbes that digest all that. And we get those microbes in our diet because we get the milk from the cow, which has grazed on the grass. This is what our ancestors used to drink, correct? We don't do that anymore. So that's also leading to, and this is true for every other food too, like fruits or vegetables or whatever. Everything gets washed, everything gets, over processed, and for a good reason. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm just stating the facts here. So a natural question would come up is, if we improve our diet and, improve our lifestyle and go back to the old ways, will it not work? The sad answer, or the really worrying answer here is it won't work. The raw food, the raw milk, the healthy food will not solve the problem given the situation we're in today. Because if you really look at it, the cows, the fruits and the vegetables and the animals, they all get these microbes essentially from the soil. And the soil is being destroyed since the last 150 years due to our practices, our industrial practices, or the kind of chemicals we're introducing into soil. and just a general disregard for soil health, because we don't even think about soil as something that needs to be preserved, right? It's just considered dirt. So we've come to a situation where every year we're losing 27,000 species of microbes. It's not that they're dying, they're going extinct. They don't exist in the soil anymore, which is a huge loss. And this is why going back to this old style where we start eating this healthy food, because there is technically no healthy food anymore, because we've already lost so many microbes. So even if you start going back to the old ways, it's not really going to help much. So the only solution at this point is to regenerate organic matter in the soil, so we can consciously and intentionally reintroduce these microbes from certain areas where they still might be some old forest or something like that. I don't know. That's something the researchers probably will have to look into. But the idea is that we really need to regenerate the organic matter in the soil so these microbes can start living there again, and then we can start getting our healthy dose of these healthy microbes back into our bodies. So essentially, the bottom line is you save the soil, you save yourself. There's no other way around it. Yeah, so this brings me to my final slide here. At this point, humanity on the planet, we essentially have the three options that you see on the screen. One is to do things the right way, go back to our roots, and start doing things the way nature intended, which includes saving the soil first, regenerating it, and reintroducing these microbes back in the soil so we can live healthier, happier lives. And if we choose not to do that, the second option is we could be looking at a future which includes eating shit. I don't know about you guys, but it does not sound very appealing to me. Just to stay healthy, if you have to start ingesting shit to meet our nutritional needs and keep ourselves healthy and happy, I don't know how appealing that is. And obviously, the third option is we do nothing. We don't eat shit. We don't save soil. We keep depending on pharmaceuticals for our health and well-being. And we all know how that's working out. So I really don't need to get into that too much. So yeah, essentially, hopefully enough people will wake up with this movement that Sadhguru has started. And hopefully we'll get enough momentum going where people will realize that our future includes eating shit. This seems like some cruel joke the Mother Nature is playing, throwing back at us for all the shitty things that we've done for the past few decades and past few centuries, essentially. Yeah, so let's hope for the positive, and let's hope enough people will wake up and will reverse the trend here. If you feel there was any important information or this was useful to you, please feel free to share it. And the whole idea is not to scare people or gross them out. The whole idea is to share information which is really factual at this point, and get them aware and spread that awareness, wake people up if we can wake them up in time.